I have recently stumbled over a 4-year-old video from Athlean-X where they said this.
Ow.
What are you doing? What is that?
Oh, dude, I learned how to use kettlebell cleans.
With this?
Yeah, it's a YouTube video.
Of course, they were talking about Vince from V-Shreds. Vince has a great video that I've already reacted to where he shows you how to demolish your elbow and your shoulder. God, this is so painful! Jokes aside, I thought this video was a good reason to teach you how to do the kettlebell clean.
But before we get started, I want you to join our free 50K giveaway. Get a chance to win lifetime access to our online kettlebell courses valued over $2,000. Link is in the description.
Grüezi miteinander, Gregory von Lebe hier. Now that we know that Athlean-X was making fun of Vince from V-Shreds, I also want to point out that Jeff Cavalier mentioned my sensei Steve Cotter in his video.
Do me a favor. Go watch any of Steve Cotter's videos on how to do kettlebell cleans or anything with a kettlebell. The guy's a master at using them. I had him speak at my live event 2 times because I believe he's the best out there when it comes to using a kettlebell.
Steve Cotter certified Angie and me in June 2019. And before he was here in the studio teaching me how kettlebells really work, I was dabbling around with kettlebells just like everybody else. And maybe if I was chasing clout and money without giving a crap about my professional and personal reputation, I would have morphed into another Vince teaching you how to destroy your joints with a kettlebell. So Sensei Steve, I want to take this time right now and thank you from the bottom of my heart for teaching Angie and me how the kettlebell truly works. Your knowledge not only transformed the way I train with kettlebells, it also changed up my coaching trajectory. And for this, Sensei, I will be forever grateful. This is what a proper clean looks like. Before I get started with the exercise, I stand over the kettlebell, take 1 step back, and now I have this 1/2 meter distance to the weight. This is a proper setup, which should be considered as your first rep. We want to start with momentum. So I hinge, I grab the handle, tilt the bell towards me so that the base is off the floor. From this position, I'm ready to get going. I pull the kettlebell and my arm between my legs, making full contact with my body. We call this ABC, arm-body connection. Now I hip thrust the weight forward and I keep my arm connected to my body until the hip extension is finished. From this position, I pull the kettlebell upwards. We call this acceleration pull. After this pulling phase, I insert my full hand and part of my forearm inside the window of the kettlebell. We also call this spearing the kettlebell. After I've inserted my hand inside the window, I want to rack the weight by pulling the arm close to my body, elbow making contact either with my stomach or with my hip, and I want to exert full control over the weight as it sits between my forearm and my upper arm. This is what we call the nest. You can also memorize this cue. The kettlebell wants to rest in the nest. You can either use this passive rack position that I just showed you where the elbow connects with your body, or you can use an active rack position where the elbow has no contact with the body. As the kettlebell sits firm and tight in the rack position, 1/2 of the rep is finished. Second half works like this. I turn the palm towards me, extend my forearm, lean back a little bit, and wait for my arm to reconnect with my body. Here's the ABC again, and then I hinge, going into the backswing. Again, we have 2 variations. I can either use the Russian pendulum, where I drop, fully extend the legs in the backswing and come back up, or I use a deadlift kind of stance, where I drop the kettlebell, go down in a deadlift position, and come back up. Variation 1. Variation 2. Here's the biggest problem that people have with the clean. It's crashing the forearm and not being able to stabilize the kettlebell in the rack position. Crashing of the forearm happens like this when I create too big of a circle. 1, 2, boom. So the velocity of the kettlebell has to travel somewhere. If I don't break this velocity, and if I don't stop the energy that's coming from the kettlebell, the kinetic energy, so to speak, then I'm always crashing my forearm. So how can I remedy this? By decreasing the size of the circle and also using my upper body as leverage. Another important key is the positioning of the kettlebell right before your hand insertion. The kettlebell should point towards the floor and the handle should point towards you. You can direct this with your wrist joint. Watch. And now it's way easier for me to spear the kettlebell or do the hand insertion in a proper manner. The second part is stabilizing the weight on your arm. Once you have the kettlebell in the rack position, your forearm is not supposed to rotate and your elbow is supposed to stay close. If you disregard these two important mechanisms, then the kettlebell always wants to fall back down as you have the kettlebell up in the rack position. That's why kettlebell training is like a martial art. You have to understand what muscles to contract and when to contract, and what muscles to relax and when to relax. Another common mistake that I see people make is deviating from this middle line, and then they go laterally, which means away from the body, boom, like this. You always want to think about a boxing stance where you are guarding yourself. You want to follow this middle line anytime you work with a kettlebell. Now, even though Vince from V-Shreds might be an extreme case, I think he was trying to follow a middle line. The problem is he was only using his elbows and he left his wrist joints dangling to the left or to the right, respectively. So when you think about the middle line, it's not just your elbows, it's your forearms as well, your wrist that come to the middle to protect your body from harm. In conclusion, I want to give you a power tip and a great drill that has helped me improve my kettlebell clean. We start in a finger grip. Finger grip means that I don't crush grip the kettlebell, but I grab it with my fingers and my pinky connects with the lower corner of the handle. Now I can either put my thumbs on the handle or close it to a lock. This is important because as I want to jump into the hand insertion, the kettlebell has to be loose so I can insert it more easily. If you crush grip the kettlebell trying to clean it, you will most definitely lacerate your palm skin. Now here's the master drill that can help you improve your kettlebell clean. This is what it looks like. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Start with your ipsilateral side, your same side, and finish in the contralateral or the opposite side. And the contralateral side is always trying to engage in this proper hand insertion. 1, 2, 3. This is a great tool to learn the hand insertion because your free hand can only focus on inserting the full wrist as well as part of the forearm inside the window of the kettlebell. At the end of the day, kettlebell training is a skillful craft that requires mastery. So if you're just getting started with the kettlebell clean, or you might have been doing it for a longer time but with the wrong technique, don't lose faith, don't lose hope, and don't lose patience. It requires skill, it takes time to master it. Just work on it and you will get there. If I can do it, you can do it most definitely as well. Here's the next thing that you have to do. Like the video, consider subscribing, share it with a friend, and then go watch this video. If you're just getting started with kettlebells, you need a proper guide to help you with the fundamentals. The clean is a little bit advanced. So if you're looking for the proper fundamentals so that you get a head start with kettlebell training, you want to watch this video right now. So go click it and watch it.